come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up small, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, so the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not come up. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. Betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. No one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then say they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention, your destination, they fall. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Right. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us.
Hey, George.
Yes, sir.
People betray us, eh? They lie to us.
Well, you know, I would tell you this. I'm not sure where you want to start the show today, but I do want to start the show dealing with a Vandalox Patrick. That's where I want to start today.
So did you vandalize the young man?
Well, you know, for some reason, this fellow believes that spending 11 months at a special set-aside program for third world people at Harvard all of a sudden makes him a public policy expert.
Okay.
And
before you before you go, because that's what plaguing our country at a larger scale, not just from Vandala's perspective.
Yes, but considering his own background and where he came from, it was shocking.
Yeah, but let's just welcome our folks. You know, we got some dedicated listeners who support us and who appreciate what we bring to the table. So I want to say to them again, thank you for being, you know, on point, joining us and listening in, and hopefully you sharing this podcast to others out there, because we believe there are more people who, you know, get to know what we're talking about and get to understand it, will connect, and at least if not connect, start to rethink some of the things they want to do, because that's what we want to do. We want to reimagine Liberia, we want to restart and want to rebuild it. And it will not take only a few people talking about it to do it. It will take a critical mass of people who are convinced about these things. And all of these interlocking things, like the topics we are looking at today, probably 3 primary topics. George wants to vandalize. We want to talk about some healthcare aspects, and also want to talk about, you know, the entire open letter, response, response to the response, and you know, the common Buga Denzel gone silent. So we'll touch on those three primary topics, but in the process, there may be other things that may come up. So thank you for watching. We look forward to an exciting show. George, the platform is yours.
Okay,
Hey,
so
whoa,
here.
we got somebody who's listening for the first time. I want to say welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to your continued, participation in the show. Okay, George, what's the premise?
Okay, so the premise is that this young man, Dylan voted to reject the fellow from RIA.
Right.
Okay.
Darlington Conley
Right.
was totally unqualified,
Okay, so the
unprepared.
major premise is there was a statutory requirement for the position.
Right.
And that statutory requirement was that the nominee must have a college degree.
Yes. At least
Okay.
a bachelor's.
So Dylan said he would not vote for the nominee because he didn't meet the statutory requirement. Vanderlock Patrick decides that he's going to go after Dylan because Dylan doesn't have a college degree. So, I read what he wrote. He wrote something on the Observer, and I was like, wait a minute. What is this about? Because there's a requirement for the job. If the requirement for the job said that you had to be 6 feet tall to get the job, using this fellow's logic, somebody who was 5'6" could not say to Mr. Conley, but you're not 6 feet tall, so you can't get the job. So I engaged him privately because I didn't want to publicly embarrass him. And then he tells me that Dylan had a moral obligation because of his lack of education to not challenge Conley's lack of education. So my question was, or my position is that as a senator, Dylan has what is called a duty to take care that the laws are faithfully executed.
Well, question. That should be his role.
Okay? That's his role. Allowing someone who does not meet the legal requirement for that position to be confirmed means he fails as a senator. I also reminded Mr. Patrick that there is no academic requirement for somebody to be an elected official.
So is he saying some of our unlettered officials should not have a voice in these kind of discussions because they don't have a degree?
I don't really know what he's saying because his thought process is so stupid. Okay, so, all right, so let's see. Dylan had a moral obligation to not question him. And so, I told him.
But what is the morality?
Yes. Do we really want to impose morality on our senators? Because if we do, there's a person serving in the Senate right now who's a mass murderer.
Prince Johnson.
I have a photograph of him literally executing a man who was handcuffed.
And there's video, not only photograph,
okay.
Video.
So if you want to talk about morality, why is it that you have figured that it is
immoral? But what is the morality in there? Does he understand what morality means?
I'm not sure that he even gets it. But here's my thing. And this is, I think, the larger point I want to make to our listeners. All of you know that I'm an atheist. Okay? And it's not something I arrived at lightly. But one of the driving issues or reasons behind my atheism is the question of morality. Because morality is subjective.
Very.
Okay? Both Christians and Muslims in their holy book believe that their God at some point commands them to kill certain people who offend him. And in that religion, that is the moral thing to do. So in the Bible, it says, if a man lay with a man, he will be stoned. It says, if your brother rejects his faith, you should kill him. That's a part of the Bible. And under that dogma, that would be the moral thing to do. But when we become a secular state, then we pass a constitutional requirement to say that it is unlawful to deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process.
People say you shouldn't reference the Bible with all. You shouldn't talk about quotes in the Bible or giving reference.
Oh, geez, I'm not here to give you. This is not Sunday school, but it's there.
All right.
Okay, you can look it up. But the point is that morality is subjective.
Yeah, but morality is on principles and behavior, right? Individual or group principles and behaviors that govern
and
what
those
they do and determines what's right and wrong. If at that time those people of that faith or that group determine that laying with a man is wrong and should be killed, that's the morals at that point in time. Does that moral sustain to modern day? Most likely not for a lot of people. But what he ascribing to me now, because I was not in a conversation with the two of you, but it basically is like this nonsense sometimes statement, or if you come with equity, you must come with clean hands. That means nobody who committed any crime before can question people who committing crime today, which is some of the excuse that, again, the CDC people are using as a means to pillage this country because the previous administration did those things. So they try to use it in every little situation, people in general, not only citizens, that if somebody has some issue before a specific thing, even though it's not particularly relevant, but you can apply that context to them and say, you can't do X, Y, Z, because again, in this case, you don't have a bachelor's degree. But that bachelor's degree is not a requirement for the position Dylan holds or the responsibilities he has towards the Liberian people to ensure that he vets any appointment from the president, and those who are not qualified to meet that standard, he doesn't allow them to get through. So how is that an immorality, or how is that being double-faced? I don't understand it when there's a clear standard set by the law that governs the
position.
The position. So yes. I don't think we need to waste time on vanilla. Sometimes vanilla can come with interesting stuff.
But here's the thing, right? So somebody tells me that he wants to run for senator. So I said to the person, but then he's not a very smart fellow. And the person said, why? I said, because Dylan was just, I think 2 or 3 years ago, elected to a full term. Isn't that correct?
Very much so.
So that's 9 years. So are you starting your senatorial campaign against Dylan now?
But I don't think he wants to run in Monserrato. Is that where he wants to run?
But so then, if he wants to run, if he doesn't want to run in Monserrato, why is he going after the senator from Monserrato?
Why would anybody go after anybody, George? Sometimes people just have issues against them, or maybe he was at Cottington at the same time that Darlington Conley was at Cottington, and it's his friend, so he's trying to be.
But Conley isn't qualified.
He's not. He did not graduate from Cottington, and what's his name knows that. And we had in our Cottington Alumni Association chat rooms, we had that discussion.
I was recruited, George Fambule. I was recruited from the Maryland, DC area to come and head a software project at Boeing Mesa, where they build the Apache helicopter. Me, I was the head of the project. That project was called the Electronic Corrective Action Tracking System. And what it did was it created a knowledge base for reporting problems and the resolution to those problems so they could dispatch them to people in the field. I built that project. I had a team of 3 other developers working with me. Does that mean I can run RIA?
Certainly not. But then
I'm an FAA certified UAV pilot. But let me tell you now, hold on. What I did at Boeing had nothing to do with the flying of an aircraft. Zero. Okay? It was strictly software. I also worked on the change management program for the Wing Responsibility Center in Renton, Washington. That's where they build the commercial jets. In Mesa, Arizona, they build.
Man, go apply for the job. Go to that job. We have to appoint you.
Wait a minute now. In Mesa, they build the Apache helicopters. In Washington, they build the wings. In Renton, they build the wings for all the different series of jets. But nothing I did for those software projects had to do with actually flying the plane. One project had to do with change management. So basically, let's say when an engineer makes a change to a part on a wing, and this was just for wings. When an engineer makes a change for a part on a wing, they had to document that change and send it to all the suppliers.
And that's I mean, those are standard things.
So they wanted a software system that would say, this is what it was before, this is the latest change. And so if you're making rivets, this is the new size for the rivets.
Right.
And then all of the suppliers had to sign off and say, okay, we got this change order.
Right.
Okay. And they had to keep meticulous records. In the case of the Apache helicopter, the problem that they had was they had a hard time finding cataloging repairs for people in the field. So if somebody, and a lot of different countries fly the Apache. So let's say somebody in Egypt called and said, we're having problems with XYZ. Unless they found somebody in the company who had that specific experience, they wouldn't capture the knowledge. So what ECATS did was it logged the problem, what part of the plane it was with, and then it logged the resolution.
So bring this back to Vandalag now. So we can
your sound is off, Isaac.
Can I be heard now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. So
bring it back to Vandalag and let's see how we can close.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just end on the fact that his position, the article that he wrote, the letter that he wrote to Dylan, it was ignorant, and it does not belie somebody who attended Harvard. It just doesn't.
But look, George, I mean, yes, these institutions, they are hallowed, they're respected, the Ivy League and everything. But just attending Harvard does not make anybody that much more intelligent, not just naturally, So
well, so this is the problem, like you originally raised with people.
Your microphone is mute now. Your microphone is mute. Yeah.
We place more emphasis on the degree than the functionality that the degree actually should rent.
No question. I agree.
Okay. And so this joker will walk around telling everybody that he's a Harvard graduate, but he doesn't have the ability to think like one.
And again, that's 11 months. Most times these programs don't grant you that engagement and interaction that you get with just so so many different people in that college environment from the brick and mortar sense. But again, that's what we have to deal with, So we in our society, there's just so many contradictions. People don't like
Okay, so
education, but people
let's
look
erase.
at
Let's
these
get.
degrees
Let's
as
forget about that
everything.
man.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so now let's move to talk about GEMS.
Okay.
Okay, GEMS is. I saw an article on Front Page Africa about Gomez. Who's GEMS? Gomez Institute of Medical Sciences.
Yeah, GIMS.
Okay, a place supposedly a new hospital in Liberia.
So
Top of the
TD,
line.
wait, but John, TD Nimle making me laugh. She said, I'm gonna play the Eugene Fangon song. Tell her to play Lemmy.
Okay, I don't even know what that. I don't know what that song is.
Oh,
But
you have not seen that meme on camping? You have not seen the song?
no, I haven't.
Oh, I will try to find the version with the Puga dancer dancing inside. Go ahead.
Okay, so I read the article and I was immediately struck. This man has no medical background. And in the article, he said that they're going to be doing things like curing cancer, doing heart surgery, treating high blood pressure and treating low blood pressure. And he was going to bring doctors from Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Ghana. And the first thing I said to myself is, those countries don't have an excess of doctors to send to Liberia. They don't. So the next question was, who vets these people to go to Liberia and set up? Because I will tell you what my fear is.
What's your fear?
My fear is that this is an operation to harvest organs for sale.
I mean, from everything you shared with me and how I looked at it, with somebody who has, again, that's a similar case. Maybe the guy was accountant or financial person for some hospital or something. He's now
He works
running
for some company in Liberia named ICC.
Is that not the International Criminal Court?
I seriously doubt that somebody who came to Liberia working for the International Criminal Court would then move to be a business person in Liberia. But he said he worked for them for like five years.
But it's like legalized organ harvesting. That's okay. What it sounds like.
So, because here's the thing, and this is what I want people to understand, and let me try to give people in Liberia a breakdown. You guys remember when that kid Shaki Kambara was shot?
Yeah.
By the AFL?
Yeah.
And they took him to Redemption Clinic. And he was shot in the leg.
Yep.
Okay. And he bled out. The reason was Redemption Clinic was not qualified to treat trauma. So let me
ask you, George. In emergency situations, there are clear protocols based on what the incident is or what has happened to somebody for where to take them, which specific hospital you can take those persons to, and then they check to see whether there's availability, then they go to the nearest one, whatever. There are protocols that are set around those things. So in Liberia, we don't have that.
We don't have that, but let me just lay out for the listening public in Liberia how it works here. Every medical facility, meaning every facility that offers medical services, is categorized based on the type of service that they offer or that they are licensed to offer. So, for example, my clinic is an ambulatory clinic. People walk in and they walk out. We don't do any cutting. We don't do any surgery. At most, we'll give you an injection, okay, or vaccination. And we don't even do that. We'll send you to the lab for the lab to draw your blood. So that's one kind. Then you have your standard emergency room. Okay? You have your outpatient surgical center that can do certain kinds of surgery. Okay? You go to an outpatient surgical center, they may be able to do your hand surgery for your carpal tunnel. They can't do open heart surgery. Because when you do things like open heart surgery, you need a surgeon who can operate on a person's chest when it's open. You need the hospital to have certain kinds of equipment. So my mother-in-law had open heart surgery to replace a heart valve. And the doctor explained to me, what we're going to do is we're going to open her chest and we're going to take her heart out of her chest to physically remove it.
But isn't that a surgery? Not only one surgeon, but multiple surgeons are needed because there are different requirements.
Right. And then we're going to cut the valve that's bad, and then we're going to sew in the replacement valve, and then put her heart back in her chest, stitch it back up, connect everything, and restart her heart. And she was about 74 when they did that surgery. But there's a whole team of people who are involved with that. Okay? So the fact that this man said that they are going to be doing heart surgery in Liberia, in his location. They're going to be treating cancer. I mean, how does he even have a license to operate a facility that tells people that this is what he can do? Because think about it, Isaac, if you know anybody who has had cancer.
I do.
Okay. There's a process. There's the radiology to say, okay, there's a growth or tumor. There's the blood test to see if there are any markings. There's the biopsy to do the histology and say, okay, it's this kind of cancer. And then there's the radiation treatment, if necessary. There's the surgical removal of the cancer, if necessary, or there's the chemotherapy. Okay, so how is this person going to treat cancer in Liberia? You know how he's going to do it? You're going to show up. He's going to say you got kidney cancer. And you know the cure for your kidney cancer?
Surgery.
We got to take it out. That's a fairly straightforward operation. Take out the kidney, pack it on ice, and fly it to Saudi Arabia. End of story.
Yeah, and I think
your kidney cancer is cured, and he gets paid for your kidney. But you cannot convince me that this person has any capability to do what he said he would do in the article, and lacking that capability, I think his motives or his operation is much more nefarious than it is. So that would then call into question the people at the Ministry of Health.
The Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health holds serious responsibility in these situations.
Okay.
The regulations, the standards, they are amiss, you know. And if they can monitor these kind of things, because there got to be some things that send signals to you. What is his list of doctors? He's just getting doctors from abroad. I mean,
yeah. Somebody say he. Oh, that we do. There was a.
Don't mind. We say some crazy stuff here. He's talking about.
Oh, and so somebody also wrote, and I believe this is Gus, and he talked about linear accelerators. So a few years back, I worked for a company. I did some work for a medical practice that was a radiation oncologist practice. And the radiation machine they had there used a linear accelerator to generate the energy to treat the cancer.
Right.
And Isaac, they had to hire somebody with a PhD in physics to run that linear accelerator, to do all the necessary calculations.
Yeah,
So
but that
when somebody announces to Liberia, we're going to treat cancer, how are you going to do this?
and that's where the Ministry of Health should be asking this. You have some clear guidelines as to who can enter this space and who cannot. And just them not being able to do that, it just shows you what value they place on the health of Liberians. You know, this is clearly an opportunity for, our people's organs to be harvested, because hey, there'll be a lot of people going there, assuming they got heart, they got liver, they got this, and their parts will be taken out. It's sad, man. So I don't know how we can get to the Ministry of Health, how we can follow this up, to see what process this guy went through to get registered or to be able to open this kind of facility, what even the environment in which he operates in terms of the kind of equipment that there and how they relate to the kind of surgeries he's saying, and the kind of services he's saying they provide. These are things that our people should really be focused on, but unfortunately they
Okay, so
focus on eating global money.
George Walker says brachytherapy. So let me ask you this, George. In brachytherapy, they implant radiation pellets in the part of the body that has cancer, and after a while, they go ahead and remove it. They also do it for people who have brain cancer. So are you telling me that when somebody has brain cancer, this person has the ability to implant these radioactive pellets in their brain and go back and remove it? Or is it just something you heard?
No, George just dropping everything, brachytherapy, gamma knife.
Yeah, but
whatever.
in order, if you have to use a gamma knife, you have to have a gamma knife machine.
Again, he's saying,
dude, an MRI machine costs almost $5 million. So let's be serious here, because what we're dealing with is the health of our people. Okay? And in a society where people are not very well educated, when they come to a facility that says it is a scientific facility and it fails them, it would drive them back to the bush. So we have to be very, very serious about it.
Yeah, hopefully more people can actually be serious about it, especially those in power, those who have the responsibility to educate our people, to effect all these regulations and ask the right questions, vet all of these people who are coming in our country to do basically whatever they want. And I just don't see how the people in power there's no smell test for some of these things, or just basic requirements that or some kind of like intellectual support system that helps them factor in what is this person coming here for, what are they really trying to do, how does what they say they're trying to do align with what they have presented as the capability, as the facility.
But even the doctors that he says he's going to bring in, who's going to vet them?
And he's very vague about it. To just say you bring in doctors from different countries, that's not specific enough.
How are we going to know that these doctors are even qualified to do what you say they're qualified to do? There was a whole scandal a few years back about an Indian medical school giving what do you call the thing? Fake degrees. Okay?
No, TD, we can burn our country down, but we can restart. We can reimagine what we want it to be, and then we can try to build towards that. But
Okay, so George Walker, you're saying some practitioners. Let me ask you this: which practitioners in Liberia have that? That's my question, and I need you to answer it for me. Some practitioners, yeah, there's some practitioners in the world that can do brain surgery. You don't have one in Liberia.
but
There's some practitioners in the world who can do open heart surgery. You don't have one in Liberia.
If George wants to come on to make the case, fine. George, you want to come on? Well, George said his bad. I don't know what he's talking about his bad. But no, George, we can't just be throwing stuff out there. This our country has to be serious. You know, there's just so much stuff that.
But here's the other thing that I found really bad, really strange about it. Right? What is this?
Now, somebody was asking for the Muncie power drink, but let's go ahead. We'll discuss it later.
So, here's the other thing. This GEMS hospital is less than a half a mile from Catholic Hospital, and is in the Sophie, like Sophie ice cream area there,
right?
So it's less than half a mile from Catholic Hospital, and it's less than 2 miles from JFK. So you would think that even if the Ministry of Health were licensing a hospital, they wouldn't put them so close together.
They would do some kind of zoning.
Okay,
George, I think most of the hospitals that in the Monrovia area, they are not even like 5-6 miles apart, though.
Yeah, but okay, so if you start at JFK and go all the way to ELWA, okay, those are all of the major hospitals in Monrovia. JFK, Catholic Hospital to ELWA, where the majority of Monrovians live, i.e. on Bushrod Island. They don't have any hospital.
They got Redemption, right?
Is Redemption even still open?
Yeah, they're still open. Somebody was there the other day.
Are they functioning as a hospital?
The guy had a video going. The guy had a video going about, you know, what equipment they had, how they were treating people, and they were saying he should go to the management first before he can do that. So I mean, it's healthcare in Liberia is really risky,
okay.
And that's why.
So for the entire Bushrod Island, how many hospitals do they have?
George, anyway, I was gonna say maybe
let's just stamp that they have one Redemption.
One that we know of. One. Maybe
so
there's others out there that other people know, but I know it's one that we know of.
If you're going to license a new hospital to open in Liberia, where is the most likely place for you to put it? Isn't it Bushrod Island?
It should be.
Isn't it Bushrod Island?
But I won't even consider the stuff that guy is saying as a hospital, because that just sounds like a
but he's already open
advantage.
Because somebody went by there. He's already opened. Okay, so
George, this is a next step thing. What would you recommend that people who are interested do? I mean,
what they need to do, they need to make the Ministry of Health provide them with the details and the basis for which they license this facility, and how they are going to credential the doctors who are going to work there.
Right, because they'll be popping in.
Right.
And I don't even know if they do it now. You know, we do want the diaspora and other people to come on medical missions, XYZ, and these. How do they, validate that those people who are coming and say they have certain capabilities actually do have those capabilities to treat our people? I don't think.
Okay, so let's go back to the people who are coming from the diaspora.
Okay.
Okay. Every healthcare provider in the United States has
How's
something
it?
called has an NPI, okay, which is the National Provider Identification. There is an NPI registry that is a public document or a public website run by the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare. You can go in there and type in a doctor's name and the state they are in, and it will tell you this is the person's NPI number and this is the type of work they do. Okay? It's not just for doctors, it's for nurse practitioners. So I could go and type Natalie's information in there. Your mic is off.
Thanks.
So
No, I
I
was
could
saying
go
my
in
wife
there,
has an NPR number too. She's a nurse.
right? And if you go to npiregistry.gov or .com, you can type in her name and her city, and it will in state, and it will bring up her information. It will also bring up what type of doctor she is, or what type of a nurse practitioner she is. Once you do that, you can then go to the state medical board and check her license. And on the state medical board, it would tell you if there are any complaints against her. Okay, all of that is public information. So the folks coming from the diaspora, it's easier to get a quick background on them. Somebody showing up from India or Ethiopia and saying, I'm a doctor, how are you going to know?
No, just so people can understand what we're talking about here, George. Let's just what is it?
It's npiregistry.cms.
No, I was there. I wanted to just share it so people can see the level of information that's public and that's out there that people can't just, scam the system or fool people. And okay, so let me just put in a different window so people can see. Let me just share this because sometimes people don't understand that all the things that are out here is doable in Liberia as well. It's all about us being committed to process. So you can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was my wife's first name yet, Natalie. And this is her last name, Tukpa. So if I do a search, and you see a search NPR records. So if I do a search, I get her NPR number, I get her name, I get her where she practices, her work phone number, and her primary taxonomy. That means the classification she works in as a nurse practitioner. So if I do the same thing with my niece, I should get something N Tukpa, and I click search. So maybe you go on my N Marcia. Let's see. Oh, I don't find anything for her. I gotta ask her what's going on.
Oh no, you just probably put it wrong. Just put Ann.
Let me just do Tukpa and see. Right. It's Ann hyphen Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my niece. She's in St. Louis. Actually, she needs to update this because she's at
No, they will update it for her when she starts her new program.
no, but she's been at Brigham's and women in at Harvard for the last couple of years.
But she's a resident, right?
She's a fellow there.
Okay. Yeah, they will update, or they have to update it.
All right. So cool. That just shows people how this is legitimate you know,
And look at the enumeration date. So put in Jerrell, Jerrelle. Copeland, Copeland.
huh. What? Oh, I gotta share the screen. Okay, it didn't come up though, George.
Jerrelle.
All right, we'll try that. Let's see.
Copeland, Copeland.
Oh, Gus wants to come on, so let me add him after uh this share. You said Jerr, right?
Jerrelle.
Right. She's
There
here.
you go.
Go Canyon. Yep. Internal medicine. So,
Right.
folks, is there all this information, and that's why data, system are critical things that we talk about all the time. But we have Gus Corman here. Let's see what Gus has to say before we go on to the next topic.
Hey, fellows, how y'all doing?
We're good, Gus. How are you?
Good, good.
It's kind of like a
George
real
sent me the
LIB.
link 'cause
And you see, hold on one second, real quick. And you see, Isaac, if you look at Jerrelle's information, it shows her state and the license number for her state.
Oh,
So
when
then,
you click on the link,
when you click on her NPI and you go all the way down, under where it says taxonomy,
right?
it has the state and the license number, all the way at the bottom of that.
So you say I click on this URL right here.
Yes, click on that.
All right.
Scroll all the way down.
So her gender when it was last updated, everything.
Okay. So that's a state and the license number.
Right.
Right. So now you can go to, you know that she has a license in Arizona. You can go to the state of Arizona Board of what we call BOMEX, Board of Medical Examiners.
Right.
And you can check.
Right.
So what I'm saying is there is a way to check and vet every medical provider in the U.S.
So all the
coming
to, and we don't have that for the people coming from India, right?
Or Ethiopia, or Ghana, or Nigeria.
Right. Okay. So, Gus, what you gotta say before going to the next topic? The next topic is a little.
Well, I think George, like I said, George tagged me on this. I think you guys were talking about medical, and it was just kind of concerning to you guys' point. In Liberia today, let's talk. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, even when they were thinking about getting an MRI system. How can you can't even have those things? We're not equipped. We don't have stable electricity. We don't even have the stuff that is needed to be able to run some of these equipment, let alone have a foreigner come in our country and say they're going to establish such a lucrative and maybe misleading medical practice. I mean, I don't even know. I mean,
how many customers is this guy likely to have, George? Just based on the conditions
in Liberia, as many as show up at his door.
Yes, dude, we got pastors.
Isaac, if there's a $25 fee to register.
Yes.
Okay, and he can get 50 to 100 people a day.
So the guy can just harvest people parts as easily as he wants.
Yes. Yep. Look, churches come to Liberia, ministers, and they say they're going to heal people. I'm going to stop here somewhere because my reception may be bad here. And they basically fool these citizens to go out and spend all this money, that they're going to be healed just because some pastor laid their hands on them, let alone somebody come in and say they're going to operate on somebody. Like George was saying, how are you going to have open heart surgery in Liberia? There is medical ethically, there's no way anybody would give you license to perform such a thing in Liberia. You're basically saying you're going to kill somebody, right? Anesthesia. Right. You don't even know if they have the reagents. Okay, let's go anesthesia. Let's just start with anesthesia because that means you're gonna have to put the person down.
Asleep.
How many anesthesiologists do we have or nurse anesthetists? None. Okay, respiratory.
So who does
critical.
anesthesia in Liberia? Wait. Who does anesthesia in Liberia right now?
They're winging it.
What?
Yes. Look,
Isaac,
in
if you're having surgery at JFK and you need blood, they have to send to Catholic hospital to get the blood to bring it to you.
And this is not just today.
Remember
when I went back during my 40th birthday, George Werner was the one that allowed me. When I went and saw Madam Winnie Scott McDonald, and those are the questions that I had. That was around the same time when we had the Hawaiian people trying to donate all that equipment to us.
All that equipment, right?
LIB. Yeah, it was the same scenario, and I'm asking them, how are we doing this? How do you leave America and you go to a country like Liberia, and with all this credential, and you're letting people do these things? It just, it's incomprehensible. I'm telling you,
Wow.
Here I am. I'm driving around. Okay. What do? I have several medical facilities. Okay. I'm the guy. I go around, check on my guys. Okay. We have to deal with Joint Commission. We have to deal with the state and all of those things to make sure these, not even an IV pump has to be certified. You know what I'm saying? How do you know how much drip this person is getting? Nobody has a skill in the hospitals in Liberia. Isaac, how can you treat a patient when you don't even know their weight? Okay, let's go very simple. How do you treat a patient? I may be 80 years old and this man is 40 years old. We weigh the same. You gonna give us the same dosage? Let's think about it, man.
Interesting questions. Interesting
Yes.
questions for the healthcare sector. And
And-
to
and
say
these are the things that are
no skill in some of the clinics or hospitals, that's troubling.
Ask them. Anybody on here, ask them. Tell them to tell you if they have skills in a hospital. When people are going and get drugs from any Nigerian guy or whosoever in the streets,
Isaac,
what does that tell you?
Ebola. Not Ebola, just doing COVID last year. I sent 50 pulse oximeters to Liberia. A simple thing like a pulse oximeter that costs $15. I sent 50 of them to Liberia. To guess what? To be used in the hospitals.
But I remember there was a graphic, I think from Riverside or so, with a scale for a baby. And I don't know anyone of you saw it, but it was like a pan, like a cooking pan or something like that, that was being used to weigh the baby. So that
Right.
baby weight will never be
Well,
coming
it's
out.
it's not even calibrated. That's what they don't realize. In a
Yes.
hospital here, those things are calibrated because it's very critical for the pharmacist to be able to treat that patient. Okay? They cannot do those. They cannot put their license on the line to send. When you go to the hospital here, that drugs that come out, they already know how much you weigh, how old you are, okay, your blood pressure, and all of those things. They take those things into account in treatment. But what are we doing today? Like we're still in 1920. I'm telling you, we are.
So again, people just gotta be more aware, more conscientious. At least Ambassador Jackson one day here is saying most of the hospitals now have skills. So we hope that's true.
Okay, let me tell her one more thing. Most of the hospital after the war, they give them defibrillator, they give them EKG at JFK.
They gave them sonogram machines.
And they were all collecting dust. Tell her, call George Werner on here. Call any patient that go to JFK today. Go to the ER in JFK. How many of the patients are getting monitored when they're in the hospital? Nobody. Instead, everybody's on their cell phones. So when you treat people, you are not looking at them. Their visual don't do anything for a clinician. Okay? Their vitals is important. Yes. That data is a thing that they use to treat patients, not the physical morphology or whatever it is. It's basically looking at that patient internally and going, okay, here's their SATs and all of those things. We're going to treat them this way. But we can't do that. How are you going to treat cancer? How are you going to attack those cells now? You can't attack those cells when you don't even know where is that. How many CT scanners do we have? How many MRI scanners we have in Liberia? So I don't know how this person is starting this business, but it's pretty fishy. You know, it's pretty fishy.
Okay. So we're trying to put some action behind this discussion and reach out to the Ministry of Health to find out, how these people got certificated to do what they say they're doing. Um, George, your friend wants to come on, but I think with you, your friend, Bobby, Honorable Bobby Benito. So,
My man, bring the man on because I'm going to be driving here.
Bring him on.
All right, I'll stop. I'll just drop off for now.
Benito, here's the link. You can come on, but we can go to the next topic, George. And I think that has to do with the different letters and the exchange. So
one more thing, Isaac.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I just sent you a picture.
Uh-huh.
So I want you to show that picture to the audience. And I will explain to them what it is.
Can you see it, George?
I can't see it.
George, are you on mute? You can see it now?
Nope.
Yeah, but I'm sharing it.
There it is. Now I can see it.
Okay.
Okay. So let me tell you guys what this is. This is a chair that allows a cardiologist to do nuclear magnetic imaging of your heart. That chair costs $300,000.
That chair?
Okay. That chair costs $300,000.
Wow.
Okay? It's in my cardiologist's office. You see the white part on your right?
Uh-huh. This
It's
part.
a camera that goes from one side to the other. And it essentially takes pictures of slices of your heart to find any anomaly in there. And this person doesn't even do the surgery. When they find the anomaly, if it's something that can be fixed with a stent, they will fix it with a stent. This chair is made by Siemens. Okay? But this chair costs $300,000. So when I ask about the type of diagnostics this person is going to be doing, how are they going to know?
So like guesswork they got coming to do with the people?
Right.
Wow. So thank you for sharing. At least we got some idea. We need to find out what kind of equipment that guy got in his spot and what he really planning for the Liberian people. So, George, you're aware, Mr. Cummings penned an open letter to George Weah. George Weah in turn responded with the inclusion of a lot of extraneous things and not really focusing on the three issues raised. Mr. Cummings returned that response in a detailed fashion, going piece by piece. And inclusive in he added even more to the noise with regards to his accusation of warlord activities or being involved in a war against George Weah. To date, there has been no response from the Weah camp. But seemingly, they are going to be designating surrogates like Sam Jackson and other people. No, George, I gotta go back. This guy Jackson one day is asking, and you expect this to be in our hospitals at this time? What is this time?
Let me explain to you, Jackson. Okay, this equipment that I showed you is not in a hospital. It's in somebody's clinic in America.
In a clinic,
it's in a clinic.
Office.
It's in a doctor's office. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, if a man tells you he's going to open a hospital and he will have heart surgery in the hospital, yes, I expect that equipment there.
But Jackson, how else do you expect him to really diagnose
to make the diagnosis? That's a diagnostic equipment.
And narrow down to what part of the heart or what part of the body is really having a problem.
Yeah. If a man tells you, I'm going to open up your heart to fix a problem with your heart, before you open my heart, you need to know exactly what's going on with it. And that's what that piece of equipment tells you.
After you bust open my chest, cut my heart, then you don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
Just say you're killing me. You know? So yeah, so back to the point. Sorry for that diversion. You know, so it's been a situation now where I think the government, in my opinion, I could be wrong. The government is antsy, they are edgy. They will be responding in so many different ways. They will not address the main issues raised, but they will be responding in kind. Whether it's just regular benefits for VIP people, the treatment they get, they'll be trying to take that away. They will be using surrogates to insult. They will be raising issues that are not relevant to the discourse, to the national discourse, that relevant to peace, stability, economic development, education, health, infrastructure. They will find excuses, like a situation with the road at RIA. I mean, for you to dig a big hole in the center of the road and then justify it and say it's climate change, you blame climate change. Are you saying you didn't anticipate the rainy season? Are you saying there are no warning signs that can help people navigate on treacherous roads?
So let me ask you this question. Which part of it was climate change?
The rain, the regular rain.
But what about the hole that they dug? Because the rain didn't create the hole.
The rain did not create the hole.
The rain just put water in the hole.
But here's the thing. Not working.
But even from a safety perspective, if you have a hole that large close to a road, shouldn't you put some barrier
close in the middle of the road?
Okay, that will stop people from running into the hole?
So the Ministry of Public Works, I mean, most of the roads right now during this rainy season are very, very treacherous and people cannot navigate them. It's extremely tough getting around. And this is 5 years. It's not like when we were in opposition, I was a member of the CDC, we're not aware of all these things and not making promises that will correct them. It's just extremely sad, like they say, the government allowed
Here's my question for the Minister of Public Works.
That one spend her high-end money for that job. Or don't give her hard time to get fired.
Yeah, it's a very simple question. We all know and we accept that climate change is a problem. We also accept that climate change will be an ongoing problem for Liberia. What, as Minister of Public Works, what is the government's detailed plan for climate change mitigation.
I even think that people at
Right.
EPA have anything, then you ask them for public work to house them.
But that's not EPA's job. That EPA got nothing to do with climate change. EPA has to do with protecting the public from pollutants and other harmful things, environmental protection.
Right.
Public works has to do with the structural.
Right, but it's combined.
Things that have to do with climate change.
Most of the dollars for climate change will come through the EPA, to be honest with you. Because when they say environmental protection, it's not limited to what you just said. Its scope is way beyond that. Climate change is a major part of how the environment changes and how you protect the environment, how you restore the environment, and how you combat the climatic impact on the environment. So that's why they have a significant role to play in the whole climate change process. And I'm not saying in exclusion, public works, there are other ministries that got to be involved in how, in a holistic way, the government of Liberia approaches climate change, but we have not seen anything. Even disaster, we have not seen anything. So there's just so much lacking. It's really, really sickening.
So again, one of the things I kind of don't like about the way officials in Liberia lie in the answers that they give the Liberian people is they're so flippant with it. And I would say this, and whoever is listening, if you might want to write this down. The quality of a lie depends on how much respect the liar has for the intelligence of the person that he is lying to.
And how much subject matter knowledge that liar has.
Well, but again, if you are lying to somebody you knows what you're talking about, you will be very careful to construct your lie as to make it believable.
But then
when the public works minister, when they asked her, she said climate change. But the question was nothing to do with climate change. The question was very simply, why didn't you put a barrier around this hole to avoid cars running into it? That's it. That's not a climate change problem. You dug a hole. Even if the hole were filled with water, if you had put a barrier around the hole, the car would not have fallen into the water. And I don't know if you saw that. You saw the picture, right, Isaac?
My man.
If the car had gone in at a 90-degree angle, everybody in the car would have been impaled because there's still rods sticking out of it.
I don't know how that car went and just landed like on the 4 tires. That was incredible. Right. That, I know you're an atheist, but that was a blessing.
No.
Because if that car had gone any other way, those people were dead.
Would have been not to go in the hole to begin with.
Okay, that's the best solution.
But at the end of the day, I looked at it and I said, wow, if this car had turned 90 degrees in either direction, everybody would have been impaled on those steel rods that are sticking out.
Man, that kind of force, those steel rods will go through the car and go through
the
car.
That's right.
That's a fact. So, it comes back to folks just saying anything they want to say. Like just thinking people are stupid and just giving reasons like McGill was doing and didn't realize it was going to backfire in terms of saying the people steal their own, they carry it abroad, we steal our own, we spend it right yet. Lying to the people.
And I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I was very impressed with the statement that the Deputy Speaker gave.
Yes, Fonati.
I was very impressed with it because he made it clear to the people in Liberia that the Americans, they don't make mistakes like this. They didn't mistake Nat McGill for Nathaniel McGill or Nathaniel McGillicuddy or some other person. They are very careful. And when they make those announcements, they have information.
But this is somebody who knows the system. This is somebody who,
which again drops the ball in Mr. Weah's lap. Because I find it hard to believe that this information was just announced and Mr. Weah knew nothing about it.
the U.S. don't operate like that. They inform them. But what Fernandez says is the fact. None of them can contest these U.S. sanctions with a straight face. The Americans are thorough, systematic, and impartial in their investigations. They have more than enough resources and all the sophistication to source any information they desire anywhere around the world, including the Great Russia.
Right.
And that's a fact. It's sad that George Weah and others still are not taking this thing seriously. And George Weah, probably because of his ego, he will not fire those 3 individuals. And a year, Wegubwe Jr., Bill Twewe, is saying that if the president says he must resign, the president should resign too.
Oh, well. Just come right out and say it, right?
You know, oh, man. Look, these guys are really putting their whole reputation of Liberia at stake and don't even realize it.
But one of the things that I've said, and one of the things I said in response to this, is that every Liberian president doesn't get the message. And the message is, as Tony Montana said in Scarface, never get high on your own supply. At the end of the day, listen, Liberia has one constant benefactor, and that benefactor is the United States.
And that's the thing we can't run away from. That is the albatross around.
If the United States tells the EU, don't give them money, the EU will not give Liberia money. Okay? You'll be left with the Chinese and the Russians. So even when the Americans tried to warn Mr. Taylor, his action was, y'all can't do nothing to me. It didn't take that long for him to kick his ass out. Mr. Weah needs to see this and act with urgency. He needs to, this is a warning to him that his situation is precarious and desperate.
But he's failed the simple litmus test. He's trying to wait it out and it will not work.
When they have brought this thing so close to you and you didn't take the type of dramatic action it requires, they're coming for you next.
George, in what other country do you think a minister of state or chief of staff to the president is indicted in this manner, in this verbal allegation manner, and he keeps his position? What other country you think?
And so it means that the reason Weah cannot remove McGill is because Weah and McGill are the same person. And so that's why it's important for Mr. Weah to understand that when they came for McGill, they were just giving you an opportunity to get out of your own way. I'm not saying they wanted you to resign or anything like that.
Well, probably start anew.
They wanted you to give you an opportunity to start again. They wanted to give you an opportunity to change your footing before the campaign begins, to take some action that convinces the world that you're even eligible for another term, to run for another term. But if you are recalcitrant, trust me, they will have information on you.
I mean,
and it will be irrefutable.
And the reality is, many of these guys are careless with what they do. So it's not like there's some kind of serious, streamlined
Look,
criminal operation going on.
boss man, it's not about them being careless, Isaac. What are you going to do with money in Liberia?
Oh,
What are you going to do with it?
they can hide it on the bed and use it as they require, as they need to.
The value of money, as my high school economics teacher, Mr. Massaquoi, told me, the value of money is in the goods and services it can purchase.
Right.
If you got $1 billion and you are a billionaire in Liberia and you are stuck in Liberia, you're not enjoying that $1 billion?
You're buying stuff from outside and bringing it in.
How much can you bring in Liberia to fall in the hole on Robert F. Road?
You know, they don't care about developing the country or ensuring the road.
That's my point, Isaac. If I'm a billionaire, do you think I will be caught on Robertsfield Road at any point in my life? No.
You fly everywhere.
I will fly everywhere. I will not even be thinking about coming to Liberia. That's my point. So the value that you get out of your $1 billion is far higher outside Liberia than you would get in Liberia. The problem is when you're stuck in Liberia, okay, you just stuck. If you got $1 billion under your bed, Isaac, you don't have $1 billion.
No, I mean, it's limited. It can still get you a lot of things and stuff, but it's limited compared with so many other people.
And Massaquoi's question to our class was, if I gave you $1 million and stranded you on a deserted island, what's the value of that $1 million?
And I think there was no cell phone, right?
Zero. Right. You just stuck there with your money looking at it. So again, the reason you develop your country is so that you can take advantage of the finer things. But here's the problem with stealing all of that money or building all those properties. You can even only enjoy them while you are in office. Because when you get out of office and a serious administration comes in.
But that's the condition of serious administration. A lot of times, these guys negotiate with the previous administration to get a pass, or they negotiate with the incoming administration to get a pass. And like a lot of things, the incoming communication gets the hints of where the bones are buried, and then how they can create their own bones. And then they just go with the flow. They don't bother to prosecute and stuff. So it would take a leadership that is committed to the people and not to itself for things to change. Otherwise, we'll be getting the same repetition. Criminal kind of power. Criminal told the previous criminal that was in power, they squared a D, everything all right. They continue to exploit the people. That's what it is. So do you think, even though the strategy is out there now, they're going to be using surrogates? I don't think President Weah will be responding to Mr. Cummings. You know, it's the tabe him. He can stay in the corner and send him picking there to cuss, to do everything they can. But that will not move anybody. Mr. Weah still has to answer those questions. He's lending legitimacy to the whole war crimes thing that he was involved with Lerd and Modell, but not responding to those very serious charges. So it's important for Mr. Cummings to keep asking for answers from, President Weah. President Weah has initiated his openness by responding to that first open letter. And once you respond to that first open letter, you're there. You can't let the other person put you in zero too late. So he got to come forward. He got to say something. He can't hide behind people. That's not what we're here for. That's not what he will be respected for. Hiding from Mr. Cummings. All he knows he made. He challenged the man. Take the debate to the people. The debate is in the public square. So Mr. Weah can't run away. He got to come like a big boy. He got to put on a big boy drawers. He can't be a child in this situation. He can be the child that Mr. Cummings gave an example about in his article or in his response. So, He took some water for the Liberian people, but he has gotten his reward. Whether just or not, he has been rewarded. The Liberian people have taken care of George Weah. He should be taking care of them now as president. Unfortunately, that Mr. Cummings got to be telling him where his job is supposed to be. But that happens. So, from your perspective, George, what do you think the coming side?
Isaac, where is that sound coming from?
What sound? What does it sound like?
Oh, hold on. Damn, somebody putting something in somebody sent me some stuff in Messenger. Okay. I'm sorry. I was like, it ends.
So, George, you want test out or look at the different comments we got during the show? Let's see.
Sure.
Some of them we can respond to.
I thought Bobby Bonito was coming on.
I put the link in there. Bobby Bonito, he just all talk.
He ain't got minutes.
I put the link. I can create a banner.
Okay, let me see what I got to do here.
Benito, who can hardly string 5 sentences together. Would not come on this show. Bobby joining the show. There's the link right there. You come in, we'll add you to the program.
You're not coming anywhere.
I doubt if you have the ability to have this discourse and express yourself. You are picking, but you can hardly write. And I know you can hardly talk. So it is what it is. But yeah, so we got a couple of comments here, some of them unrelated. Approved budget for fiscal year 2022, Minister 12, Minister of Finance, Development and Planning take 152 million, while the Minister of Education take 47 million and UL take 17.6 million. Complete stealing. Well, that from just this face value is misappropriation in the wrong direction, but in terms of the stealing, it has happened. The people in this government are involved with stealing. There's no if, and, or but about it. And it's only the people of Liberia who can do something about this thing. There's this discussion that's going around that, the only way the opposition can win if Mr. Cummings and Mr. Boycott are on the same ticket. That's complete nonsense. Is the Liberian people cannot feel the hunger pangs. They cannot feel the desolation of their own life. They cannot see that they don't have much hope on this government. 5 years has passed, and most people, if you pull them today and ask them if their life is better today than it was in 2017, I don't have to say the answer. Most of you know what the answer is. So with that kind of rejection, that kind of reality, if they can say because two competitors are not on the same ticket, they will not go to vote or they will not vote for those people, I totally question everything they think, the way they think, the things they think about. Because competition is good. That's what democracy is about. Aspirations are good. Having a vision, having a dream that you want to fulfill, all of those are good things.
Look, I'm not going to come on here and disparage Mr. Bokai today. Okay?
No, please don't. Please don't. I believe in. Wait, George.
But here's my thing.
All right, go ahead. I will come on.
Here's my thing. I believe Mr. Bokai is a good person. Okay? for where we are right now, we need a change. And we need a change to a more to a younger generation of leader. And the reason we need that change to a younger generation, and there are those in Liberia who would say, oh, but Joe Biden is 80 years old. Joe Biden has an infrastructure and a bureaucracy that can exist without him. The same is not true for the president of Liberia.
No, it's not.
And we are still waiting for that president of Liberia who is going to have a vision to change the direction of the country. And I'm sorry, you cannot tell me what Joe Buckeye would do differently from what his two predecessors have done. And because you can't tell me what he's going to do differently, he's not the person I can vote for. He's not the person I can support. Okay? I understand that there are the former Ellen supporters who want to get back on that gravy train. Okay? That train has gone. You all were screwed by Ellen Sirleaf. And that should tell you all what happens when you commit 100% of your soul to a person and that person leaves you in the lurch. Because you are desperate, you have sunk costs, and you can't seem to say, let's go in a different direction. But how old is Buckeye? 84 years old?
I don't think so.
How old is he? He's not 70?
No, he's not 70. He's more like 79, 80.
Okay, he's 80 years old. Is this the person to lead the country in the 21st century? I don't think so, folks. I mean, that is just the honest question. I don't think he's the person to lead the country in the 21st century. I don't doubt that he's a good person. I don't doubt that he wants the best for Liberia. I have no doubt. The question is, his version of the best is very different from what I see as what is best for Liberia. Okay? And so that's where we are right now. That's the choice of the country.
For this birthday, you are born 1944, so he'll be 78.
He'll be 78.
In November. Yeah.
Okay? And let me tell you about those people who are saying that Cummings should be vice president to Buckeye. Okay? And at some point is going to translate into leadership for Cummings. Let me ask you this question. Buckeye was vice president to Ellen. How did it work out for him?
And yes, we want to change the paradigm on the vice presidency.
But Isaac, this is my question. What people don't understand is the power and the gravity of the president of Liberia. The vice president is a zero.
No, facts.
The vice president of Liberia is a zero.
And Bagheera demonstrated how much the minister of state or the chief of staff is too.
Okay.
Because everybody was complaining how he was blocking them.
Edwin Barclay said to Franklin Roosevelt when he came to Liberia, and there's a picture of them on the internet driving where Barclay is driving a Willys Jeep. And he told Franklin Roosevelt, when you are president of Liberia, it's like you are the king. Okay?
But you ever saw that interview with A.B. Tower?
Yeah, I'm sure I saw it. So at the end of the day, the people who are saying that Cummings should go as Buckeye's vice president, it's a trap. Because if that happens, Mr. Bokai's minions will do everything they can to destroy Mr. Bokai in the process.
Mr. Cummings, you mean?
Mr. Cummings in the process. Let me give you guys a little history lesson. You know who was Mr. Tubman's first vice president? Mr. Tubman's first vice president, I believe, was C.L. Simpson. Clarence Simpson. And Simpson had his own ambitions, right? The way the succession was going, you would come in, you would serve for 8 years, and then the next guy would take over.
Right.
Okay? Tubman became president in 1944, 45, and in 1954, I believe, he engineered that fake coup. And then he essentially canceled all the political opposition.
And again,
okay,
back then, I guess the whole issue of democracy was not strong. But
but Isaac, it was democracy, but it was exclusionary democracy.
That's what I'm saying. Right? The real principles of democracy were absent.
So now Mr. Tubman is in a situation where he has made opposition to him illegal. And Mr. Simpson, who has his own ambitions, doesn't want to be vice president to Mr. Tubman for the rest of his life. Because when you're vice president, there's only one place to go.
President.
And he starts to, there starts to be talk.
They may want my position.
Yes. So Tubman decides he's going to cut Simpson down. He can't kill him because they're all from the upper crust of the people. And what does he do to cut him down? There's a man in Kakata named Amos Nangbe, who was a ritualistic killer. Amos Nangbe was arrested with a Zo's head in the back of his car, Madam Kolu. Nangbe then names Simpson as the person he killed Madam Kolu for.
Wow.
Okay? So Simpson can't run again. But they were all from the same group, so Tubman couldn't just, put Simpson to death or anything like that. So check this out. Tubman's son, William V.S. Tubman Jr., Sher Tubman, had just returned from flunking out of Harvard Law School. And he had studied law in Liberia by apprenticeship, and he was now a lawyer. So guess who became Mr. Simpson's lawyer?
Don't tell me Sher Tubman did.
Sher Tubman became Mr. Simpson's lawyer. Okay? On the day the verdict is to be read, because this was Sher Tubman's first big case, right? National case. He was the lawyer in the spotlight. On the day the case was to be deliberated and the verdict read, and the summations given, guess who shows up in court? The president of Liberia shows up in court.
Wow. Why
are you here? Well, it's a proud day for me as a father, right? My son is pleading his first case. Never mind, he's representing the vice president that my government has accused of being a ritualistic killer. But your jurors better just know that this is my son. We got the same name. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. So if y'all want me to continue to be proud, right?
Right. The man got to win his case.
He got to win the case. And guess what? Mr. Simpson was not convicted. He was acquitted. But what did Tubman accomplish in that whole thing? One, he got rid of the vice president who was ambitious. He didn't kill him. He basically, as long as he was under investigation for capital murder, he couldn't carry him on a ticket. So he had to step aside. Two, he brandished his son's gravitas as a real lawyer. Okay? And everybody won. The point of that story is for people to understand that the president of Liberia is all powerful. And Mr. Cummings going as second to Mr. Buckeye, I can guarantee you that every element of Mr. Buckeye's group, their goal would be to destroy Cummings in the process. That would be their goal, and it would be a mistake. But on a lighter note, Mr. Buckeye already has experience as vice president. So he would be an experienced vice president to bring in.
Anyone who asks for experience, you come with experience.
Right. He has a lot of experience. He was vice president for 12 years. He can be vice president for another 12. We're good with that. Okay? But
you know, George, that story, do you think Tubman orchestrated everything?
Absolutely. 100% absolutely.
So that's why he couldn't find a guy guilty.
What? Imagine now. Why would his son take that particular case?
To ensure he's not guilty.
Right.
So Eric Purvis, my own speaking from CDC, your friend who always talking about your pool. He said, will this platform play the intro song they live when Cummings becomes president? It's not about Cummings becoming president. It's about Cummings not meeting his promises to the people. Yes.
Cummings lie, yes.
Yes. We're not people who
Eric,
run away from what we're supposed to do for the
I supported Ellen Salif twice. Go to my website, fumbler.net, and see the things I wrote about her as president. See that I asked her publicly to resign because she wasn't doing her job. It's not about Cummings. For me, it's about who has the best vision and who can lead to the actualization of that vision right now.
That's it.
But if he falls short, I will be on him.
And if he falls short while trying and really making an effort, for me, I can be lenient. But the expectations are huge.
But if 5 years into his presidency, cars are still falling into holes.
No way.
Okay. His chief of staff is being sanctioned by the Americans. Then no. And let's be realistic. It is not now that they know that McGill was stealing. McGill himself said he was stealing.
Exactly. That's the thing I don't understand.
He said he's stealing, but he's keeping the money in Liberia.
So somebody got a question. If BRDI is a government institution and Alexander Cummings served on the board under the Allen administration, even without pay, did he work in the government or not? So there's something to clarify about this.
No, he did not.
He did not work. One thing is, Mr. Cummings did not accept that appointment to that board. He did not outright reject it and say anything, but he never went to board meeting. He never accepted that.
But here's the thing. The reason you have autonomous government educational institutions is because the skills required to guide that institution are generally not found in the government itself. BWI, for the most part, is a trade school, okay? That prepares people who are going to be the skilled tradesmen in the country. You need people who have a vision about how to best bring that instruction. Okay? Now, even if you look in the United States, there are several people who are on the President's Commission for this, the President's Commission for that. And those people are people who have specific expertise,
Yes.
but they don't want to work for the government, or they are working in some other capacity.
So they're either advisory or they're on a board.
Yeah, right. But in addition, some of those people, especially in the case of Liberia, could bring private resources to help BWI.
Right.
So this idea that Mr. Cummings, who served tangentially on the board of BWI, was a government official and therefore was responsible for everything that happened in Ellen's government, is just a lie.
Okay. So the next question. What will you say to people who donate to gay organizations?
You know what I say to them? Tell me where the organization is so I can donate to them too.
You know, and it's funny, this whole gay thing, Obed created a lie. He confessed to his lie. So for some people, because most of the time it's leaning towards the commentary on Mr. Cummings. It's nonsense. Mr. Cummings is a happily married man for 40 plus years.
You know, the Liberians are just hypocritical, you see. But I tend to take a different position.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't judge other people's morality.
You don't, but a lot of people do. That's just what happens.
And part of the reason I don't is because I don't believe in God. Your morality comes from your God. Okay? And Liberia is a secular state. All right? What people do behind closed doors is their business. But let me tell you a little secret about the Liberian Constitution. Since you're talking about gay organizations, not the constitutions, the Liberian Criminal Code. In the Liberian Criminal Code, it's illegal for people to commit sodomy, i.e., have
inner sex,
except if they are married. That's what the Criminal Code of Liberia says. So I would think, according to the Criminal Code of Liberia, then the only type of gay sex that's illegal is the gay sex that you have if you are not married. Because there's no difference between a woman's anus and a man's anus. Sorry, guys. Okay? There's no difference. But the code in Liberia says you can have anal sex with a woman if she's your wife, and it's perfectly legal. You can't do it if she's not your wife.
So maybe it's a gender thing. It's not.
Okay, but the fact is, it's not. So it's only illegal if you are not married. That can't be the standard. That can't be the standard. You know,
right? Because that law is divisive. It doesn't. It's not holistic. You're right from that standpoint.
If you have problems with people being gay, I question your own sexuality. Because I know that there's nobody that can turn me gay.
Right, but it's not about them turning. It's about them. For again, you bring the moral issue. You brought the moral issue.
What's the moral issue?
For some people, it's morality, but it's hypocrisy.
Okay, but let's talk about the morality. The majority of the pedophilia that goes on in Liberia is among heterosexual people. The majority of the pedophilia in Liberia is about old men molesting young girls.
Fact. And old women molesting young boys too.
Mostly old men molesting young girls.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay, so if you want to come and say it's the gay people, no. So if you want to target just gay sex, whether they are two consenting adults or not, then you're saying you don't care about the pedophilia. You're just opposed to gay people.
But it's been demonstrated that they don't care about the pedophilia, the rapists, the
Anywhere in
abusers
the
and
world
stuff.
you
It's
go,
being
the
demonstrated.
majority of the pedophilia that happens is not gay people molesting children. Well, the Catholic Church kind of different, but but then again, that's the church, right? But it's adult straight people molesting young people.
Okay. So we have the request here to play the song. I think we found the song, so we play it for. It's not a long song; it's a 1 minute song. Um, so it's on Instagram. I don't know how to get to this Instagram thing. Did not allow me to. Oh, okay. I see where it's at now. Let me share this. Share the screen.
And one more thing, when we're done with this, I want to say something. Where's the sound? So basically, he's not campaigning.
No, he's not campaigning unless he gets paid. That was.
I agree with him there. But the last thing I want to comment on before we go,
Okay.
We got to be kind of careful because there is a picture circulating around the internet that says that it's Claire Weir's house in Kingston, Jamaica.
I think
I don't
that's
know if you've seen that, huh?
I think that's a joke.
Well, yeah, and we got to be very careful. The people who are in the opposition need to be serious, and they need to understand that, first of all, this is a CGI. Okay? And for those of you who don't know what CGI is, it's a computer generated image. So
And that house doesn't even look like a 3-bedroom, George.
hold on, Isaac. Let me just share this with you really quickly.
You want to share the picture?
Yeah.
It looked like a little water slide to me. That's how it looks.
That's what it looks like to me. But
come on.
all right, so I sent you that one.
Oh, you want me to share it?
Yeah, I want you to share it with them.
Okay. Let me share it. The people won't keep everybody busy. Wait. I ain't see nothing coming up from you,
I
John.
put the red lines on there. It's in. Oh shit! I sent it to the wrong person. Hold on. Hold on.
Yep. It's come through. I think most people have seen this, man, but by now, most people should know that this is to keep the real government busy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, you're showing the computer generation, right?
Yeah. So you see that? You see this place where these 4 columns are? It's not possible to have 4 columns being anchored by a floating porch. Okay? But let me share this one with you. Okay. So if you can share this picture I just sent. Okay. This is another CGI. But you see there are already people at the party. Okay? This is a CGI. Let me show you. And I just sent you a picture of the land that the house, the land that the house is being built on. That's what it looks like now. So show the land. Yeah, that's what it looks like right now. If you drive by it, that's exactly what it looks like. But if you go back to the picture, that's what it would look like 12 months from now. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is that there are a lot of things to go after Mr. Weah for, but I don't think we should fall into this trap of picking up these things that are not real, because then it makes it easy for Weah to discredit us and say y'all came and brought a picture and the picture wasn't real, and I showed it to you and I showed you that it wasn't real, and therefore everything you say from here on out is not believable.
Talking about the academic fraud in Liberia, Tukpa and Quo said, particularly the missing certificate program, and this is the program at Harvard. I have friends who graduated from Harvard that complain that there is an ongoing debate on the usefulness of the program on the institution's reputation. Yeah, because the Mason program is a 1-year program. The Harvard Master's program is a 2-year program. The number of credits is double. I did that research when people were saying, Madam Selena, I graduated from Harvard with an MPH, I graduated from Colorado and Wisconsin, and all of those were lies. She did the Mason program at Harvard, and that was it. Those other degrees were not true. Her resume was stuffed. And that's just a trend for a lot of people in Liberia. They're not secure into what they have accomplished outside of degrees. So they try to manufacture these degrees, with everything they do. Even right now, Martin, what your friend name? Martin Colley. He's making it like a mission for him to out all these guys who are, bringing false certification to the table.
No, but here's my thing, Isaac. Okay, Liberia has been bereft with PhDs. Okay, these people have not shown any vision for the country.
Oh, Yeah, but so then they're entitled to
But that's why people go to get these degrees and run back to Liberia. Because now I got this degree, I should be a minister. I should be a senator. Okay? So Patrick's want to run for senator, and Dylan, it's not Dylan's seat he's going to fill, but he's looking for somebody.
So the people told us is Magibi. He wants to run in Magibi.
Who's the senator in Magibi?
Whew. I don't know who he'll be running against. So somebody asking about this drink, the Muncie Power drink.
Okay, yeah, so what is this drink?
Huh? We'll bring the CEO on for this drink one of these days, Mr.
He's a Liberian?
Yes, he's Liberian.
Fantastic.
It's a healthy power drink. The ingredients are definitely, great. He's excluded the additives, the extra sugar.
So Nelly, Nelly Savas, who is the representative, who is the current senator in Montserrat? I mean, in Magibi.
Did she say?
Yes, she said he's running in Magibi.
James Tonala is the senator. So that's good to know. And that's the thing, though. Most of these lawmakers, they don't stand out in any way. They don't bring any.
Okay, so what? But you see, I gotta take this call real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. So a lot of these lawmakers, they don't stand out. They don't have an agenda. They don't have something that they really campaign on or advocate for. So identifying them sometimes is tough. Wow. So George Walker, share with us where Andrew Yang's basic income proposal is. You talking about the economic basic income proposal? Yes, George, that's my favorite, the turmeric. I love the turmeric flavored drink, and it's all natural.
Look, let me tell you something.
Oh,
hold on, somebody calling again.
I'm gonna go answer your calls or tell the people not to call you during the show. One and two, you gotta do one. So I also love mango, but to be honest with you, turmeric is an acquired taste. Not everybody will like it, but the turmeric drink is the correct drink. Then we got pineapple, we got strawberry, and the mango. The mango is wonderful. So those are the 4 flavors, George. Well, thank you for asking. I think you're the one who asked further up there. Not you, George. George Walker. You know, we got plenty George. So there's another chat room where somebody because they got George all day. And in discussion, I be like, which George? You're on mute, George. So yeah. So Titi, the drink is a healthy energy drink. And the food scientists at the University of Maryland who tested the drink said that the ingredients in the drink mix very well with elements in the stomach that emit neurotransmitters that provides for sustained energy and all of that stuff. The people who have tasted it so far, they love the drink. The thing is smooth. It's not one of those drinks that will give you the Red Bull high for 30 minutes and then you drop and you be like worse than where you were before. It provides a level of sustained energy in terms of its interaction with your own body, and it's healthy. Kids from 12, 13 years old can drink the drink all the way to the oldest people. Even people with high blood pressure, it doesn't get your heart accelerated like some of these drinks do and all of that stuff. So, you can get a drink on the market very soon in the US and in Liberia. Okay. Yeah. So Joa, you can get a drink very soon. It will be on the market. And hopefully they will be supported. It's a huge opportunity too. There's a equity proposal out there for about 10%. TD Nimla, you want to lose weight? Let's work out. I can give you a regimen that you can work out and you can start to lose weight. You just got to be consistent. Yeah. So, George, your mic is off. I think we've.
No, I turned it back on.
All right. So we have had enough.
Yeah, somebody said. Damn, somebody was asking something just before I left.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who's that? Said that picture is fake indeed.
Which picture?
George Walker. He said the picture is fake indeed.
Oh yeah, but you educated the people that it was computer generated, and
yeah, it is computer generated picture. Okay.
You know, these nuances people don't see.
Okay,
sometimes.
George Walker talked about Andrew Yang's.
Yeah, that's an economic theory talking about income. So
yeah, but here's the thing, George. Okay, if you want to do a universal basic income, your government has to have the money to do it. Liberia, until Liberia is no longer a beggar nation, all of these things that we want, you will never be able to get them. The other man wanted, what do you call it, the fund? Sovereign wealth fund. In order for you to have a sovereign wealth fund, you have to have sovereign wealth. You don't have any. In order to have a universal basic income where you give everybody money every month, your government has to have excess wealth. We don't have that. So these are nice ideas, but Liberia is so far from those things that it's not happening. How many people in the country are generating economic activity that exceeds their own daily living needs?
Oh, isn't that nearly everybody?
What?
Well, you say generating economic activity that exceeds their needs? No, very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, with the few people that are, the government can't even meet its education needs. It can't meet its salaries. Before you start talking about universal basic income, that means that you're going to give every citizen of Liberia, let's say you're going to give them $30 a month, and you got 5 million people. Okay? So let's do the math, George. $30 million people times, $30 a month times 5 million people is $150 million every month. Okay?
That's not possible.
You're talking about $1.8 billion.
You gotta be like one of those Arab countries.
Okay, let's cut it in half and say you're just giving it to adults. You're still talking about $900 million. Your budget is not $900 million for the whole year. That's what Andrew Yang's universal basic income means when you're talking about those things in light of Liberia.
Yep. So it's not something we're going to do soon.
Right.
Yeah, Joa Williams, the name of the drink is Muncie Power Drink. See, MONSIE, Muncie Power Drink.
We just want to get to the point where we can generate enough jobs so that people can be employed and support their family. The government can generate revenue to pay for education and health.
George,
that's the first place we want to be.
George, I don't know whether I sent you the the bill that was passed. I will forward it to you. Again, your friend Darius Dillon people gonna be fussing with him because I think his signature is already he approved it. Look, our legislators are just rogues. Are just plain and simple. The things that they vote for just extort the people of Liberia. It's like rape. that's economic rape is what they're doing. So and Titi will talk about that probably next Wednesday, but I don't know what we can do about that now. It's out there.
What does the bill say? Let me just so I can read up on it.
Oh, George, I don't know if you want to see this bill, but basically the case they're making for this bill is just crazy. I didn't get everything from the person who like made the copies and sent them out, but they sent enough out. I'm trying to because I didn't download them. Like, all right, so let me just share it. If people not coming, make this show long and Josh.
No. I just want to see it, and then I'm out.
I will send it to you. Yeah, but let me just show it. Yeah,
because I'm ready to bounce.
I am too, but some of our supporters are an integrated pension and benefit scheme for certain categories of officials of the government of the Republic of Liberia, and to repeal and or amend certain portions of that. Huh?
I'm against it 100%. I don't even need to hear
it. That's the bottom line. I mean, the stuff.
I don't need to hear it. I'm against it 100%.
The stuff that they have in there, when it says certain, right away that is discriminatory. And then, it's like, then they talk about proper adjustment that holistically address those gaps. What gaps for these officials? What are they doing so differently? And the justification they're using is Ellen and Boyka, I mean, it's like, oh my God, these people are.
Yeah, but the Constitution grants those particular people pensions. Okay?
They say this situation is even more imperative as we have a retired former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and a retired former Vice President Joseph Yuman Boyka, who served 2 full consecutive terms of office and yet received no pension and benefits from the government of Liberia for their services.
That's not true.
This bill addresses these issues and concerns, and we hereby submit it for you instead of your legislative consideration and for enactment into law. Respectfully submitted, the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights Claims and Petitions, Abraham Darius Dillon, nominee and Batikwa, Steve Zago, Emmanuel Nukwe, Maurice Etuma, and Augustine Chia, and the chairman is Vani Sherman. So we can look at this in detail on the next show, but hey, the fact of the matter is these guys are just only concerned with their own benefits. That's the primary thing with the leadership we have in Liberia today. It's all about them. It's not about the people. It's not the whole. It's just a fractional part of what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, George Walker. Anytime people travel to Liberia, they bring in money. The HBCUs people are very welcome, but again, the environment is not welcoming. The dirt, the lack of organization. There are people on the ground with them.
George Walker, let me arrest that idea real quick. Nobody come to Liberia for spring break. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Okay. HBCUs, I can tell you where all of them are. Okay. They are from DC to Florida to Alabama to Mississippi. All of those places that they can go for spring break are within a 1-hour flight, airplane flight. Okay, you don't have nonstop flights from the United States to Monrovia. Nobody flies.
It will be 8-9 hours. People
will be 8-9 hours. Nobody flies 8-9 hours for spring break, because guess what? You've already lost one day, and then coming back, you're going to lose another day.
And then spring break, tired again.
Spring break is a week. That's it. It's a week. Okay,
George,
so
we want all
nobody's
the
coming to
tourism to go to
Liberia
Liberia.
for
George,
that.
welcome.
No. Okay. So if I flew to and here's the thing. Say you fly to Miami, everywhere they go is within walking distance because these are college kids. All right. A lot of them are not even old enough to rent a car.
My man, I went Atlanta the other weekend and was doing Uber. Nearly every Uber trip, I don't know, because the place I was going was a low distance to, was like $60, $80. It's crazy.
Yeah. So if you go to a city like Atlanta where things are far apart, you might as well rent a car.
Yeah.
You would have been better off.
And then I didn't want to rent a car because I was running and tired and stuff, so I didn't want to drive. You know, but these are all some of the challenges that we have as a people that we have to work on. So, you know, today we want to say thank you to all of those who are listening. George, Family, thank you. George Walker, definitely you were an interactive listener. We appreciate that. You know, anytime you want to come and actually participate like Gus did today, please feel free. Gus, thank you for coming on short notice to, you know, talk about this medical situation. But folks, we have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of things to learn. And it's very important that, you know, we who want a better Liberia should build that critical mass of people. Everybody has a role, but we all need to work together to make it happen.
And George Walker, don't get me wrong, 100%. I believe we can build Liberia to be a vacation destination. But the first thing you have to do is you have to have direct flights from Monrovia to Lake Piso. That's where the vacation is happening. Right? No, I'm dead serious.
Well, Lake Piso is bad. Lake Piso is one of the best tourist areas.
I mean, I'm sorry, or from Atlanta to Lake Shepherd in Kipamas. Those can be fantastic vacation destinations.
Or even to what Edina in is that Edina in Grand Baza? That place is beautiful.
But people have to. But here's what the kids have to be sure. They have to be 100% sure that the enjoyment will start as soon as they land.
Yes.
Okay? You will have buses. You will have hotels. You will have people to take them around. You will have the people who want to surf, right? You will take them surfing. Because let me give you an example. Let's say you're from California and you're used to surfing. It's not a big deal to fly from Atlanta to San Francisco, which is about a 6-hour flight, tend to fly from Atlanta to Monrovia or to Robertsport, which is a 7-hour flight to go experience new surfing in Robertsport. But we have to build the country to make it attractive to those people. Let me give you an example. My family and I are talking about going on vacation. My wife asked me, where you want to go? I said, I want to go to Singapore. She said, why? I said, the only reason I want to go to Singapore. Check this out, Isaac. The only reason I want to go to Singapore is to see the airport. That's the only reason I want to go.
Is it a solar airport?
Look up the Singapore airport.
Wow.
It is
what you're saying, that's what makes some places destination. The only reason why people go there, they want to see that one or two or sometimes two things that blow their mind.
I want to see the Singapore. I want to see it. It is the most spectacular airport in the world.
Wow.
Okay, that's the only reason I want to go. So even if we went to say to Seoul, I just want to stay in that airport for one day and just take it in to see how these people, who it took them 25 years to go from a third world country to a first world country, were able to build this.
And that's why I really believe Liberia can come around to something like that. Not the same thing, but hey, Liberia can make it.
Oh man, you see, the other man said they should let PLO Lumumba run for office. You know, ever see PLO Lumumba build anything before?
George is all over the place.
Those people that so talk. This is what you should do. You have to be steadfast. You have to be
the extra progressives have not really done anything. They have not done anything they can point to.
Never.
Paul Kagame is a different story, but you know,
We're talking about people who do things, who get things done. I want to see the airport in Singapore, and I want to know what it took these people to develop the type of discipline to go from their old airport to this new spectacular airport that is one of the wonders of the world today.
Yep, it is.
And these are not white people. They're not white people.
Everybody
So what's our excuse?
All right, George.
All right,
Next
we'll
week,
talk.
man. Peace. I know during the week we'll talk, but peace. Everybody, thank you. We appreciate it. This has been a wonderful show, nearly 2 hours and clocking. But we do enjoy the time, you know, because we're trying to share information and we're trying to get information from you, the listeners. And for the most part, you have been contributing significantly to the success of this for other people to enjoy it. So let's keep the rhythm, let's keep the dynamic going, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.